So, good morning, all of you. I am Pradeep Hirapure and going to deliver my lecture on the topic types of stains and staining technique utilized in microbiology. So, dear students, you know very well the bacteria are microscopic organism and they are also colorless for the most part. In order to visualize them, to study their structure, shape, and other structural characteristics, it become necessary to make them more easily visible. And this means that the structure have be contrast from their environment so that they can be easily seen. So whenever we try to study about any bacteria or the biodiversity of the bacteria, at that time you should try to analyze the morphological characteristics of the bacteria, and the bacteria are colorless in nature, and that's why we unable to visualize the bacteria without staining under the microscope, and it is very difficult to study about the morphological characteristics of the bacteria. And that's why in microbiology, whenever we're going to discuss about the microbial analysis using microscopy technique, at that time you should know the staining technique is most important. Now, what is actually the staining? Staining nothing but the procedure or technique in which we colored the bacterial cell by utilizing some stains or dye, and after the coloration of that bacterial cell we can visualize that bacteria under microscope in a bright field. So there is a contrast in between the background and your specimen, and that's why your bacterial cell or bacterial morphology we easily can analyze under the microscope, and for that purpose we need to stain our bacterial sample. So before going to discuss about the staining technique or how many types of staining technique we utilize in a microbiology laboratory to stain the bacterial cell or microorganism, you should know about what is actually the stain. Stain is a dye used to color the living or dead organelles or organism. So stain is a chemical compound which is act as a dye, and that chemical compound imparts the color to the bacterial cell or any other living organism. Basically, when we are going to discuss about the types of stain, so there is a three types of stains available: acidic stain, basic stain, and neutral stain. The name itself, it suggests that acidic stains nothing but the negatively charged acid radicals imparts color to the specimen. For example, eosin, acid fuscin, malachite green, nigrosin, Indian ink. These are the example of acidic stain. And whenever this acidic stain we utilize, this acidic stain actually imparts color to the positive region of cell or positive region of the organelles. On other hand, when we discuss about the basic stains, so basic stains nothing but the positively charged basic radicals combines with the negatively charged particles in a cytoplasm and gives color to that particular specimen. For example, the hematoxylin, methylene blue, crystal violet. So these are the some example of stain which is belonging to the type basic stain. And the third one is neutral stain. Neutral stain means what? In this stain there is a both acidic and basic characteristics. So in neutral stain, both positively and negatively charged radical imparts different color to the different component. For example, the Giemsa stain, Leishman stain and Wright stain. So this is actually the classification of stain or dye. So I think you understand the classification of stain: acidic, basic and neutral one. Dear student, now going to discuss about the staining methods. Basically there is a two type of staining methods routinely performed in a laboratory, and that staining methods known as a positive staining method and negative staining method. When we are going to discuss about the positive staining methods, so it is nothing but where the actual cells are themselves colored and appear in a clear background. What is positive staining? The actual cells are themselves colored and appear in a clear background. Means in this staining method, whatever the stain or whatever the dye we utilize for the coloration of your sample or coloration of your specimen, so after performing this type of staining process, your bacteria or your specimen take up the stain of that particular dye. Okay, if you use the violet color stain, so whenever we observe our specimen under the microscope, we can observe that our specimen looked or appear in a violet color, right? So such type of staining technique in which the specimen take up the color of particular dye known as a positive staining. Now this positive staining again having the two types: simple staining and differential staining. Now what is actually the simple staining? Simple staining nothing but we use only single stain for the coloration of bacteria. So all the bacteria looked in a single color. Why? Because in this staining we utilize only the one type of or single colorant agent or dye or stain. For example, the methylene blue, polychrome methylene blue, dilute carbofuscin. So these stains used to perform the simple staining. Okay, and in simple staining the color contrast gives same color to all bacteria and cells. On other hand, whenever we are going to discuss about the differential staining, so differential staining nothing but the process or the staining technique in which we can differentiate the population of bacteria or population of cells or specimen by imparting the more than one color. Okay, so what is actual difference between the simple and differential staining? Simple staining in which we use only the single stain, but in differential staining we use more than one stain. And that's why in differential staining, when we observe the specimen under the microscope, you can observe that some cells having a specific color, for example the violet color, and in the same slide some bacteria or some bacterial cells appear in pink color, right? It means that in a differential staining we use the two type of stain. One stain impart the purple color or violet color, and secondary stain imparts the pink color to the cells. So basically in differential staining, or that this differential staining utilized in a laboratory to differentiate, to distinguish the different bacteria, is called as differential staining method. And example is there: gram staining, acid fast staining. These are the examples of differential staining. So in the previous slide we discussed about the simple staining and differential staining, which these are the types of positive staining. And now we're going to discuss about what is actually the negative staining. So already I explained you in a previous slide what is positive staining. Positive staining nothing but in which your specimen, your sample, your bacteria take up the stain and appear in a particular color. And what is actually the negative staining? Exactly opposite to the positive staining. Here in this staining method we utilize the stain, but your specimen, your bacterial cells unable to take up that particular stain. Means after completion of this type of negative staining, and when we observe our specimen under the microscope, we observe that the background appear in a color of stain, and your bacterial cell or any cells do not take up that color, and that's why they are appear in a colorless. So dear students, in negative staining means your cell not take up the dye or stain, and that's why uncolored specimen we can observe under the microscope, and this type of staining known as a negative staining. For performing the negative staining, Indian ink and nigrosin, these are the two different types of stains routinely we utilize whenever we going to perform the negative staining of bacteria. So dear students, already we discussed about the types of stain and types of staining methods. Now we are going to discuss about one more important part, that is bacterial smear preparation. Dear students, bacterial smear preparation is an essential step during the any type of staining method. Whenever we going to perform the staining method, at that time we should prepare the smear. We should prepare the bacterial smear on the surface of glass slide. So that's why whatever the staining method, it may be the gram staining, it may be the endospore staining, it may be the acid fast staining, it may be the capsule staining, any type of staining when you want to perform in a laboratory, at that time you should first of all prepare the bacterial smear on the surface of glass slide. So now what is actually the smear? Smear nothing but it is a distribution of bacterial cell on a slide surface for the purpose of viewing them under the microscope. Means any sample is available in our laboratory, and if you want to take up the bacterial sample or any sample from that mixture, so if you put or if you kept that sample is in the form of droplet on the slide, you cannot observe the separated form of the cells or bacteria under the microscope. So for that purpose, you should spread that bacteria on the surface of glass slide. And due to the spreading, the closed bacteria are located at particular distance, and we can observe this bacterial cell as a individual bacterial cells or a distinct bacterial cells under the microscope, and it is possible just because of the smear preparation. Now smear preparation means what? The spreading of your bacterial culture on the surface of glass slide, and that thin layer of bacterial cells should be fixed at the surface of glass slide, and for that purpose we should heat that smear, and we can fix that smear on the surface of glass slide, and this is actually the bacterial smear, or we can say commonly the smear. Now how will you prepare the smear on the surface of glass slide? So there is some steps. First one is aseptically the small sample of culture is spread over a slide surface. So you should keep one slide, and with the help of inoculating loop you can pick up the samples. It may be the bacterial, it may be the fungal, it may be the any cellular samples, and that sample should be spread over the surface of glass slide. After that, that sample allowed to air dry, and then the next step is heat fixation. To help the cell adhere to the slide surface, you should keep your slide above the flame, and this process known as a heat fixation. Means your all the bacterial cells now fixed adhere strongly to the glass slide. After that, the smear is now ready for staining. So in this way we can prepare first of all the bacterial smear on the surface of glass slide, and then we start actually the staining process. You can observe here in the diagrammatic representation how will you prepare the smear. So this one is a dropper, and with the help of dropper you can take the some sample or some content of bacteria on the slide. Okay, if your sample is not a liquid or not a liquid culture, so at that time you should take one drop of autoclaved distilled water and the mix the solid bacterial culture in that drop. Okay, and with the help of inoculating needle, this one is the inoculating needle, and whatever the drop is there, that drop should be sprayed with the help of inoculating needle. Okay, so after spreading you can observe your drop successfully sprayed over the surface of glass slide. Okay, and this you should kept as it is for the air dry, and after 5 to 6 minutes it is completely air dried, and then you can go for the fixation. So this slide you should kept above the flame, and due to the flame whatever the thin film or smear actually present on this glass slide, that whole smear adheres successfully, adheres strongly on the surface of glass slide. Why should we try to fix this smear? Because whenever you try to perform the staining process, you should add you want to add the stain solution over the smear, and after that you want to wash the excess stain with the help of tap water, and at that time this bacterial smear may be washed out from your glass slide. Why? Because that bacterial cells are spreaded over the glass slide but not adhere on the surface of glass slide, and all the bacterial cell may be washed out with the tap water, and after completion of your staining process, whenever you try to observe the slide under the microscope, you unable to observe any bacteria. Why? Because on the surface of glass slide there is no any bacteria remain. And to overcome such type of problem, you should heat fix the smear first of all, and whenever we heat fix this smear, the bacterial cells strongly adhere on the surface of glass slide, and whenever you wash you try to wash the excess stain at this step, the bacterial cell unable to wash out with the tap water. The bacterial cell remain as it is on the surface of glass slide. Okay, so this is overall the steps of smear preparation. Okay, after successfully smear preparation, then you can go for the staining process. Okay, now there is a different types of staining process available, and these staining process, staining method, staining technique you perform depending upon your aim. Right, so as per your syllabus there is a first method, that is a gram staining. Now dear students, you know very well in our nature whatever the bacteria is there, so that bacteria classify into the two groups, or bacteria categorized into the two groups: gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria. Now gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria we can differentiate by utilizing the Gram staining method, and that's why this Gram staining method known as a differential staining method in microbiology. And this is very common method, and routinely we perform in a laboratory whenever we work with the microorganism to identify any contamination in our pure culture, to identify the gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Okay, so gram staining specifically we utilize in a laboratory, or we perform in a laboratory to distinguish the bacteria in two groups, gram positive and gram negative. So dear students, Hans Christian Gram, the scientist, he is a Danish physician, and the Christian Gram working in Berlin in 1883, and he later published this procedure in 1884. So this Hans Christian Gram first time performed this staining procedure in his laboratory in 1883, and this procedure published in 1884. And that's why this staining methods, or this staining technique, known as a Gram staining, because this method formulated by the Christian Gram. Now dear students, before going to discuss about the procedures of gram staining, you should know about the basic principle of gram staining. Dear students, this technique able to distinguish the bacteria in two groups, gram positive and gram negative, and it is depending upon the reagent or stains utilized in this procedure, or in this staining technique, how your stains interact with the bacterial cell. The Gram reaction is dependent on permeability of the bacterial cell wall and cytoplasmic membrane to the diiodine complex. So basically, the gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria, when we try to compare in terms of the chemical composition of cell wall, so there is a definitely difference. Gram positive bacteria having a low lipid content, and gram negative bacteria having high lipid content. Gram positive bacteria having low lipid content but high peptidoglycan, and gram negative bacteria having high content of lipid but low peptidoglycan. And what happen when we perform these methods? There is a three stains. First one is a primary stain, that is a crystal violet, and then iodine act as a mordant, and safranin act as a secondary stain. So in gram positive bacteria there is a lipid content, low lipid content, and that's why when we flooded the smear, bacterial smear, with the help of crystal violet, and after that when we add the iodine, so there is a formation of complex in between the iodine and crystal violet, and that complex known as a CVI complex. So this crystal violet iodine complex combinedly penetrate inside the bacterial cell wall. And after that we added the alcohol or acetone. Whenever we wash our smear with the help of alcohol or acetone as a decolorizing agent, at that time the excess quantity of crystal violet try to remove from the smear, but simultaneously this alcohol act as a dehydrating agent, and due to that the cell wall start to shrink. So whenever we start to add the alcohol on the smear, so that alcohol dissolve the lipid content of gram positive bacteria, right? So gram positive bacteria already having a very low content, so that's why what that low lipid solubilize in presence of the alcohol, and due to the solubilization or due to the removal of lipid from the cell wall of gram positive bacteria, there is a small spores form, and these small spores completely close due to the shrinking of cell wall. And whatever the CVI complex initially reach to the cell wall, inner side of the cell wall, that CVI complex now unable to outcome from that cell wall, and that's why the primary stain is crystal violet and iodine complex remain as it is into the cell wall. After washing with alcohol, then we again add the secondary stain, that is a safranin. And when we add the safranin, that safranin molecule unable to penetrate inside the cell wall. Why? Because whatever the pores actually form due to the alcohol, but that pores small in size, the pore opening is small diameter, and due to the dehydration that small pores completely closed. Now there is no any opening remain, and that's why this safranin stains molecule only present on the peripheral region of the cell wall or on the surface of bacterial cell wall. And after that again we have to wash the slide or smear with the help of tap water. Whenever we try to wash the smear with the help of tap water, then all the safranin molecule, stain molecules, wash out with the water, but the primary stain remain as it is into the bacterial cell wall at this stage. And after the washing your smear with the help of tap water, then you should air dry the slides, air dry the smear, and then you can observe the slide under the microscope. You can observe that in your slide, in your smear, there is a purple color bacteria, right? And that purple color bacteria appear under the microscope just because of the primary stain, primary purple color stain, that is a crystal violet, remain as it is into the cell wall, and that's why that bacterial cell appear in a purple color. So gram positive bacteria appear in a purple color when we perform the gram staining. It is clear that now the gram positive bacteria looked or appear in a purple color. Why? Because gram positive bacteria having a low lipid content, and that's why alcohol dissolve that lipid content and form a small pores, and that small pore opening again close due to the dehydration, and whatever the CVI complex crystal violet molecules present inside the cell wall, that crystal violet molecule unable to come out from the cells and remain as it is into the cell wall, and that's why that bacteria, gram positive bacteria, appear in a purple color. Now what happen in the gram negative bacteria? In gram negative bacteria, lipid content is high, and step by step the same procedure we follow for the gram negative bacteria. Then what happen? Initially the primary CVI complex penetrate inside the bacterial cell wall. When we try to wash our smear with the help of alcohol or acetone, at that time again your alcohol molecule able to solubilize, able to remove the lipid content from the cell wall of gram negative bacteria. But in gram negative bacteria, high content of lipid, and that's why after the removal of this lipid content from the cell wall, there is a formation of very big size pores. So these pores big and having large diameter as compared to the gram positive bacteria. Now what happened? Already I explained, your alcohol molecule is responsible to formation of the pores into the cell wall. In gram negative bacteria there is also the pore formation, but the pore size will be the large, and your alcohol simultaneously act as a dehydrating agent, and due to the dehydration the cell walls start to shrink, and in gram positive bacteria your small pores completely close. But in gram negative bacteria, due to the large diameter of the pore, that pore unable to completely close even after the shrinking. Here also the shrinking occur due to the dehydration, but the pore opening is large, or pore opening is big, and that's why this pore not completely closed. Now at this stage, in gram positive bacteria pore are the completely closed, but in gram negative bacteria pores are remain open, and whenever we try to wash the smear, the inner crystal violet and iodine complex able to come out from cell wall and wash with the water. So in gram positive bacteria, already I explained, the crystal violet and iodine complex remain as it is into the cell wall. Why? Because there is a completely closed pore, but here due to the opening of pore, the inner complex of crystal violet and iodine come out and wash with the water, and due to that the crystal violet unable to crystal violet unable to remain as it is in the bacterial cell wall. Then your second step, again you have to add the safranin. In the gram positive bacteria, your safranin molecule unable to penetrate inside the cell wall. Why? Because there is no any opening, because due to the shrinking, the whatever the spaces and whatever the pores is there, all the spaces and pores completely closed, compact in structure, and that's why your the safranin molecule remain as it is on the surface of the bacterial cell wall. But in the gram negative bacteria, pores still remain open, and whenever we add the safranin, that safranin molecule able to penetrate inside the bacterial cell wall. And again you have to wash the smear to remove the excess molecule of stain. So some surface safranin molecule successfully remove out from the smear, but the inner safranin molecule remain as it is into the cell wall of bacteria, and that's why whenever we observe the slide of gram negative bacteria under the microscope, we observe that there is a pink color bacteria, and if you observe there is a pink color bacteria, it indicates that your unknown bacteria or your bacterial sample is a gram negative bacteria. Okay, so this one is the overall principle and mechanism of gram staining. So remember, gram positive, positive P, there is no any N, so in word positive there is a P. P stands for purple color, so you can easily remember this. Gram positive always appear in a purple color. And when we talking about the negative bacteria, so pink, purple, so purple, in this word there is no 2P and there is absence of N, so P stands for positive. And pink, in pink word there is a N, and that's why you can remember the gram negative bacteria always appear in a pink color. So pink colors nothing but the gram negative bacteria, and purple color of nothing but the gram positive bacteria. Now we are going to discuss about the structure of gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Already I explained in detail in the principle, but again you can observe the structure of gram positive bacteria. This one is the gram positive bacteria, and this one is the permeable cell membrane, okay, plasma membrane, and after above the plasma membrane there is a thick peptidoglycan layer. Already I explained you, gram positive bacteria contain the low lipid but high peptidoglycan. Okay, so the semi permeable membrane, plasma membrane, here these are the lipid molecules, and these are the proteins, these are the peptidoglycan layers. This is a part of cell wall, and teichoic acid. So this is typical structure. This one is the typical structure of the gram positive bacteria. And in gram negative bacteria you can observe here, this one is again the plasma membrane, okay, and that just above the plasma membrane there is a periplasmic space, and then small content of peptidoglycan but high content of lipid. Here also lipid is there, here also lipid is there. Again there is a outer membrane, okay. So lipopolysaccharide and lipid content is here also and here also. So in collectively when we observe the in gram negative bacteria, the lipid content is high, and that's why in this bacteria the large pores actually form. This one is the again grammatical diagrammatic representation of the cell wall of gram negative and gram positive bacteria. You can observe here, this one is the lipid content, this one is the gram negative bacteria. So you can remember here, whenever you try to answer the gram staining, so you can remember here, gram negative, negative nothing but the minus, right? So less. So exactly opposite of that, gram negative bacteria contain the high lipid, okay, because this gram positive and gram negative just totally based on the cell wall composition. So gram negative bacteria means exactly negative less. So gram negative bacteria contain the high lipid, okay. So you can observe here, this one is the lipid layer, this one is the lipid bilayer, okay. So the lipid content in gram negative bacteria is high, but in whenever we observe the gram positive bacteria, so this one is the peptidoglycan layer and only here is the lipid bilayer, okay. So gram positive, positive nothing but the addition, so the large exactly opposite minimum, okay. So in gram positive bacteria there is a low lipid content, okay. So this is actual difference in between the gram positive and gram negative cell wall. When we observe the bacterial slide under the microscope, so you can observe here the circular purple color, that one is the gram positive bacteria, and the pink rod, that is a gram negative bacteria. So these are the bacteria after performing the gram staining, and when we observe the slide under the microscope, so we can observe in this way, there is a purple color rod shaped cocci shaped bacteria and the pink color rod shaped bacteria. So procedure of gram staining. So in gram staining there is a three different type of stains we use. Iodine, primary stain is a crystal violet, and secondary stain is a safranin, okay. So initially you prepare the smear of bacterial sample, and after the preparation of smear, then that smear flooded with the primary stain crystal violet and allow it to react with the bacterial cell wall for 1 minute, and then wash with the water to remove excess stain molecule of primary stain. After that, after washing, then you have to add the iodine solution, Lugol iodine solution, and this grams iodine react with the primary stain crystal violet and form a complex, that is a CVI complex or crystal violet iodine complex, okay. So after addition of iodine, again you have to wait for 1 minute, okay, for the reaction purpose, and again you have to wash the smear with the help of tap water. After that, decolorization step. In decolorization step, we added the alcohol or acetone on the smear, and the alcohol is responsible to wash the excess molecule of crystal violet, and simultaneously in this step there is a pore formation as well as the shrinking of cell wall due to the dehydration. So you have to add the alcohol on the smear till the colorless alcohol drops comes out from the slide. Then after the alcohol addition, then you have to again wash out your smear with the help of tap water, and again you have to add the safranin, that is a secondary stain. So your smear flooded with the safranin and allow it to react with the bacterial cell wall for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, again you have to wash the slide with the help of tap water, and then using filter paper the slide is gently blotted to dry place drop of cedar wood oil or liquid paraffin on the smear and adjust the microscope for increased light by raising the condenser and the slide examine under the oil emulsion objective using the microscope. And this one is the whole procedure of gram staining. And then you can observe here, if your bacteria is a gram positive, so you can observe such type of image under the microscope. Okay, but if your bacteria is negative, gram negative, so such type of image you can observe under the microscope. And in this way, by using the gram staining method, you can distinguish the bacteria in gram positive and gram negative category. So dear students, here we stop today, and again in the next lecture I will explain the remaining staining method, that is the acid fast staining method, endospore staining method, capsule staining method, and flagella staining method. Thank you.